Thanks for staying on with us. This is Market Fatafat. Let's bring on board Kunal Rambhia as well, who joins in to share his technical outlook and continue with the stocks that are active in trade. Kunal, hi, afternoon. Let's begin by discussing your first stock, that's Asian Paints.
Very good afternoon. So if you look at the Asian Paints charts on the overall formation, right from the beginning of April, this counter is clearly making a higher top, higher bottom formation. Right from 2700, it's now at 3150. I think the momentum still continues, but a kind of a pause is also likely. So a short-term trade, though it's trend trade, it's only for these short-term traders. One can think of shorting this counter with the stop loss of 3200. I think this counter may come down to around 3050 kind of level. That's around 100 points decline from the present level. That can again be the good opportunity for the long-term positional trading. So for time being, short Asian Paints, stop loss being 3200. I think the target can be 3050.
3050 is, you could keep an eye out on that one as well for Asian Paints. Let's move on to Affle India and let's talk about the numbers. The company reported its numbers where you're seeing a growth of around 13% on a year-on-year basis and revenues came in at 356 crores. Net profits of the company were down by 9% on a year-on-year basis. 62 crores is what the net profit stood at. Other than that, in terms of the operating performance of the company, we're seeing that the EBITDA is up by 21% on a year-on-year basis, coming in at 70 crores. While overall, other margins also have seen an expansion. The operational performance of the company was better in terms of that as well, because 19.7% is what the margins came in at versus 18.4% in terms of the EBITDA margins. Let's not forget the deferred tax reversal of 15 crores in the base quarter as well is something that impacted the profits of the company. That is why we're seeing a bit of an impact over there. But other than that, when you look at it in terms of Affle India, we also spoke to the management, Anuj Khanna, Soham, who's a founder and MD and CEO of Affle India. And what is he expecting in terms of the margin growth going forward? Will we see a further improvement then? Let's go across and listen in.
With margin expansion, if you see the overall margin growth, EBITDA growth for this quarter versus the same quarter of the last year, we grew EBITDA by about 22% plus. So overall, I think we remain a very strong growth story from a overall perspective. Having said that, in the last two quarters, what has happened is that in the developed markets, particularly US and Europe, we saw some headwinds with respect to the macroeconomic conditions. And we have also calibrated a very clear turnaround plan so that this year, FY 2024, we can deliver around 20 to 25% organic growth going forward as well. So we continue to remain a very strong growth, long-term growth story as far as our performance, even in the last quarter of the previous financial years are concerned. You've got to look at it as an overall trend. And when you slice and dice the numbers, you find that India and emerging markets continue to be strong, resilient growth in the 20-25% range, which is consistent with our guidance. Our margin expansion story is very clearly coming out.
All right, away from Affle India, let's discuss the next newsmaker. HPCL came out with a very strong set of numbers for Q4, where the revenues came in at about 1.07 lakh crore rupees. The EBITDA as well scaled up nearly 2.9 times to come in at a healthy 4,799 crore rupees, with the net profit as well jumping higher at 3,223 crores. And it was clearly the higher other income, the lower finance costs that aided the company's profit. The higher than expected GRMs as well aided the operational performance. The company is exploring options like carving out the high growth and potential lube business, and they've approved as well a consolidation of their subsidiary for green and emerging business opportunities. Not just that, you've also got Jeffries, which has maintained an underperform, hiking the target price to 205 from 190, saying that refining has been better than expected.
Okay, let's move on to the next one. And Amara Raja batteries, Kunal, you picked out this one on the charts for us. What is the indication coming in? Because the performance over here has been quite subdued in the last couple of months, quite range bound. Here on, what should we be expecting from Amara Raja?
So now, this is a counter which we are now discussing since almost a month. The first breakout of this on this chart was around 19th of April. There was near 600 levels. From there, the counter is making a clear higher top, higher bottom formation. It's been slow but steady performer. Right now trading at 623. I think one can still initiate a buy on this counter. 610 will be a strict stop loss on this. I think this counter can show a 665 to 670 mark very soon. But just one point to note here, and that's the counter is really very slow. It's just given the fresh breakout since a month. It's still forming the formation, so it may take little more time for the targets to get achieved.
Okay, let's move right on then and discuss the next newsmaker, and that's Krishna Diagnostics. Sankita, why is it in the spotlight today?
Right today. Now that's because the company has emerged as an L1 bidder for a tender issued by the National Health Mission, Rajasthan, for providing laboratory services under free diagnostic initiative on the HUB and spoke model under the NHM in the entire state of Rajasthan. Now the company, in consortium with the Telecommunications Consultants India Limited, has accepted the letter of award issued by the authority as of now, and that's the reason why Krishna Diagnostics is in focus today.
Okay, keeping an eye out on that one. Let's move on to stock number 25 for today, and that is Butterfly Gandhimati. Harsh, why is this one in focus?
That's Vinny. So what we're seeing is a tough set of numbers coming in, and you can see the reaction of that on the stock price as well. Revenue is in fact at 187 crore versus the 190 crore number same time last year, so it's declined by around a couple of percentage points. We're also looking at EBITDA, which has come up. It was a EBITDA loss last year, same time 17 crore loss clocked in by the company. It's at 8 crore of profit in this particular year. EBITDA margins therefore have gone from negative 9% to positive territory, 4.2, but yet not good enough, and we're seeing profits of 2 crore versus a net loss of 19 crore same time last year. The stock, of course, beaten out of shape, down 5% as we speak.
All right, let's discuss the next newsmaker and stock that's on Kunal's radar actually. And Green Panel Industries. Kunal, just walk us through how the stock has performed over the last 1 month or so and why it features on your radar.
Very clear higher top higher bottom formation. Again, the inverse head and shoulder breakout right near to 320 mark. Counter has made a high today which is near to the previous swing high, and that swing high is of December and Jan 2023. I think that's 340. Right now it's trading at 330. It can be accumulated at the present level also, and even on decline till 320. The stop loss of this counter can be 315. I think it's a completely bottomed out counter, and it may show us 365 levels very soon.
Okay, could show 365 levels very soon. That's the word coming in on Green Panel Industries. Let's move on and talk about the next stock, and that is RVNL. That's Rail Vikas Nigam. This one is in focus because I've received a letter of award, and this one is on the SCC Infrastructure Private Limited JV, which RVNL has, which received the letter of award for planning, designing and construction of the main canal and structure. Now, the project cost of this is at around 2,248 crore. I beg your pardon, I'll check that number. We'll keep an eye out on that one, and 51% is what RVNL will be holding, while SCC will be holding around a 49% stake in the company. So let's keep an eye out on that one.
All right, let's move right on then. Discuss some interesting mid-cap recommendations that Kunal has got on his radar. Latent View Analytics, that's the next stock. And Kunal, just checking in on the 1 month chart, the stock has come off quite heftily to about 332 levels from those 360 levels. Do you think that makes it a good opportunity to buy at the current price?
So yes, we saw the result of this company on 9th of May, and 10th May was massive negative for the counter, down by around 10%, and since then it's now in sideways consolidation. If you look at the last 5 to 6 months performance, this bottom, which is near to 320, 330, seems the extreme bottom on the counter, and one can think of definitely accumulating this counter. From positive risk reward perspective, the momentum is missing out. The trend is definitely negative, but the risk reward ratio is extremely favorable. So initiating a buy at the present level with the stop loss of 310 would make sense. I think this counter may take little more time for the consolidation, but if turns around properly, then first target can be 365, and then we'll keep revising the target and we'll share with our viewers.
Okay, interesting there. That's the stock that Kunal is recommending. Time to move on. IGL, that's the next newsmaker. It's been a weak set of numbers, to put it mildly. Revenues have dipped this time around. by about 1% or so to come in at 3,687 crores. You have the net profit, which is coming at about 330 crore rupees. But the EBITDA missed analyst estimates by over 10%. So 466 crores is what they've clocked in Q4. That's up about 9%. Net profits 330 crore rupees, up 18.5%. And volumes were up about 1.7% to 8.3 MMS CMD. It's been a weak performance largely on the back of lower spreads, and the gas cost prices have gone up by 4.5% as well to 140.1 per SCM as against an expectation of a reduction, and that's keeping IGL in the spotlight today.
Okay, let's move on and talk about an IT major. And Kunal, you've picked out TCS on the charts. Finally, should we start expecting an upmove in these IT companies?
So yes, seems that these all counters are actually bottomed out, and the reason for me to pick up TCS is that if you look at the recent performance, a clear higher top, higher bottom, double bottom breakout that came at around 32.75. Counter made a low near to that level today, and even on the previous session. Right now, it's trading at 32.90. And if you look at the intraday charts, since 4 days consolidation is forming that flag formation, which is very bullish from the technical perspective. So yes, keeping all observations in mind, one can initiate a buy on this. 32.60 will be the stop loss for the counter, and I think this counter can now show us 33.50 to 3400 very soon.
Tracking TCS on the charts. Moving right on then, Ankita, let's discuss from large cap IT to mid cap IT, Sonata Software.
That's right, Avan. Sonata Software came out with its Q4 results, and the results have been pretty good. The revenues from operations were up 31% on a year-on-year basis. Even the consolidated EBITDA came in at 176 crores versus 153 crores, up 15% on a year-on-year basis. The net profit also stood at 113 crores during Q4, which was up by 13% on a year-on-year basis. Now, even the commentary that came in from the CEO and the Managing Director, Samir Dheer, he said that modernization-driven solutions have enabled the company to win 3 large deals, and including the largest ever deal win, which was worth $160 million. In addition to that, they have also completed the acquisition of Quant Systems in the quarter, and the company has also recommended a final dividend of 8.75 rupees per share.
All right, just keep an eye out on Sonata Software. I just want to take a moment to flag off the Nifty Bank Index as well, because we're monitoring this with magnifying glass. The fact that the Nifty Bank is just a mere 8 to 10 points away from hitting those life highs, and as I said, that's pretty critical given the fact that all your Nifty Bank constituents as well are a buzz. It's recovered something like 1% or 472 points from the day's low, and clear support from the Nifty Bank has sent the Nifty index as well up and above. The Nifty futures, Nifty Bank futures as well is very active in trade. You're seeing an addition of open interest as well on the long side, and that's seeing the overall market as well scale up by 136 points as well. Just pull up some of those large cap banking names for a second. Axis Bank, ICICI Bank, IndusInd, Kotak Bank, etc. And just check in on how all of those large cap stocks are trending, and you can clearly see traction coming in. But it's not just the large cap names. You've got a lot of the mid cap banking names as well that are a buzz in today's trade. So just flagging off some of those names, and that should come up for you on your screen, the likes of maybe a South Indian Bank or RBL Bank, etc. They're all just checking in as to whether you're getting in support from some of those candidates. Forgive me, I don't have the screen open right now, so just throwing up names randomly. But yeah, keep an eye out on the Nifty Bank. I think Vinny now 20 points away.
Absolutely, 20 points away. It's very close by, and we'll be keeping a close eye on that. But Kunal, on the charts, TechM also making it to your list from the IT space. What is the chart for this one looking like?
So yes, again, this counter was a massive underperformer for last 1 month. If you look at the negative behavior, this counter was the gap down that was around 5% in April. This gap is completely filled up, and now counter is making a clear cup and handle formation on the technical front. So yes, it is looking attractive at the present level. One can initiate a buy on this. The stop loss will be 1040. The first resistance, which can be our target, will be 1090 to watch out for. And if the counter sustains about 1090, then I think this is a completely bottoming out counter, and one can keep an eye for the very positional perspective. So for time being, we are keeping the target of 1090 and we'll keep revisiting the counter regularly. Once it crosses, we'll definitely highlight the same.
Thanks for that, and good to have you on board. We're actually taking a very quick break right here on the show. We'll be right back. Hello and welcome back. The market is definitely in a roaring rally at this point of time. The Bank Nifty up 336 points, mere 20 points away from the life high levels of 44,150. As we speak, all the Nifty Bank constituents are trading in the green. Just around that life high level for Bank Nifty, just 15 to 20 points shy of that level. Nifty 2 is holding up with a gain of around 138 points, a gain of almost 0.7%. And it's not just the banking space, it's a broad-based rally at hand that we have. The auto index is sitting at life high level. Look at the intraday chart of Hero MotoCorp. That's gained as much as 4 to 5%. Tata Motors, after its earnings, is sitting at 52-week high levels. You also have Tata Motors DVR, which is reacting positively. You can't forget the gains in the real estate sector. The Nifty Realty Index is sitting at a 7-month high. For instance, you have Sobha Industries, which is up a solid 12%. DLF is high by around 8%. Oberoi Realty up 6%, Godrej Properties up 5%. So a lot of these building blocks working out for the market, but the biggest puller for the markets today is clearly Bank Nifty, which is hovering near life high levels. It's still 23 points shy of that, so it's making us work. It's teasing us to reach that life high levels, but nonetheless very, very close to that level as far as Bank Nifty is concerned. In terms of the other movers, however, there is name like Tata Tech Mahindra, which is up around 2%. ITC is higher by around 2%. Hindalco, Infosys, HUL, all of these stocks are trading in the green. On the losing side, there are names like Adani Enterprises, Cipla, BPCL, etc. But the party clearly is towards the gaining side today, and that's also been reflected by the advance decline ratio, which is firmly in favor of advances as we speak. If you look at the NSE advance decline ratio, there are 1,300 stocks advancing to 800 stocks declining, and most of the sectors are actually trading in the green today. It's only pharma which is showing a very, very small tinge of red. But other than that, all the sectors are comfortably in the green, and the biggest sectoral gainer today is Nifty Realty with a gain of solid 4.5% today. It's followed by FMCG, which is up 1.4%. Auto is also having a great day, as we pointed out. So a whole host of factors working out for the markets, but it's the Bank Nifty which is up almost 15 to 16 points. And as we wait for that, we have Nikunj as well as Kunal, who are standing by for us on the wall to help us understand what this journey for Bank Nifty has been, because the last time we saw those levels of 44,151, that was in the month of December. At that time, Nifty was trading at all-time high levels of 18,887. So for Nifty, there's 400 points away, but for Bank Nifty, just 20 points shy. Let's go across to Nikunj and Kunal. They are chatting about the various internals of the Bank Nifty at this point of time.
You know, Anisha, for a market, there is a lot of noise in the newsroom, guys. Ruk jaiye, Bank Nifty abhi dur hai. We are just doing something here. So that's what happens, Kunal. When benchmark indices, they go at an all-time high. The magnetism, the energy, the excitement in our newsroom, both Swadesh and ET now is always unparalleled.
Absolutely, and this is a positive chaos for the markets. Coming back towards life highs, 4 months of listless price action for the indices. FI is making a very strong comeback. Everything is set for the markets to make a new high. Hopefully, the next week or maybe this week, we will see Nifty also making a new high.
You know, Anisha, and let's look at the 52-week. There you go. We are what? We had hit a lifetime high on the Bank Nifty on 14th of December.
Correct.
And I'll have to take the clock back to 2022.
Yes.
2021.
22.
22. Yeah,
this
2022.
Yes.
So we are coming back to an all-time high on the Bank Nifty after a gap of nearly 6 months.
Absolutely.
Almost a gap of 6 months. So 6 months, the Bank Nifty has consolidated very nicely. But the leadership, Kunal, within the Bank Nifty seems to be changing.
You know, that's the best part, Nikunj, about this point, because last time we had only ICICI Bank and SBI which were hitting back life highs. This time around, you have Kotak Bank,
IDFC, Kotak, ICICI Bank and HDFC Bank. The leadership has changed
Most
completely.
of these stocks were underperformers. HDFC Bank, Kotak Bank, IDFC First and AU Bank. These were underperformers in the last leg. So this is a different wave of trend for the Bank Nifty and a new high.
So Kunal, if the Bank Nifty makes a new high now, it is blue sky territory.
Correct.
And typically when an index after 6 months of consolidation makes a new high, It will not just pause there. It will keep on making new highs. So are we in for a last hurrah before this summer rally picks out?
You know, the last hurrah could actually last for more than 1500 points. One of the interesting data is that whenever Bank Nifty actually makes a new high, it rallies up by more than 1000 to 1500 points before it actually comes closer to a near-term top. So we are nowhere close to the near-term top, even if we confirm a new high today.
Okay, so let's look at some intraday graphs. My producer will have to follow me now. 6-month change of AU, give me the graph. 6-month change of IDFC Bank, give me the graph. 6-month change of State Bank of India, give me the graph. So Kotak and State Bank of India, we're going to be comparing the 6-month change. There you go. 6-month change in IDFC Bank, 15% higher. But in State Bank of India, the 6-month change is down 3%.
Exactly.
Which means that the leader now, which is State Bank of India, of the previous leg of the banking rally, now is become a backbencher.
Yes, Nikuch. And this is a brilliant taste for the banking index because, as I said, you are not dependent on just 2 or 3 of the entire 15, 16 banking stocks. There are other 8 or 10 candidates which have made a new high for themselves. You know, look at the AU Small Finance
Someone sold the Bank Nifty, Kunal. It suddenly dropped.
Yeah.
It suddenly dropped.
So
but 15, 20 points do not matter.
Yeah, so these are this academic, kind of 10, 20 points. But then what matters, as I said, Nikunj, is the texture. Because till the time the texture is green, very positive, vibrant internals of Bank Nifty, it's a matter of time that we just scale past about the highs and go beyond.
Kunal, I keep on debating this, that good news and good prices don't come together. And consensus seldom makes money. But in terms of banks, there is a consensus view that you want to be here, but there is no consensus pricing. There is no consensus participation. There is no consensus open interest built up. So everybody knows that banks are doing well. Everybody knows that banks have no NPA problems. Everyone is aware of the fact that the interest rates will be benign and credit offtake will be strong. However, whether it is technically in terms of charts, overbought or participation, or fundamentally in terms of price to book or even PE, I don't think we've reached what could be called as a euphoria or overbought zone.
Exactly. So the positioning is what is important. I'll give you a very simple example. Now, if the Bank Nifty moves up higher, say by 2,000, 3,000 points in the last 2-3 months, we've not seen the large cap names and the ones which have been underperformer seeing extreme participation. Now, in the previous highs in December 2022, when the Bank Nifty made a high of 44,000 plus levels, the open interest was bulky for the bank index, if I can use that word. Right now, the open interest is not bulky enough, which means market new high bana raha hai, but sentiment and positioning is still not there.
I think we'll have to wait a while, guys. And Anisha, sometimes when you wait, it could be a prolonged wait. But in this case, I think it's a matter of maybe a day or so. And I think the Bank Nifty will make a new high. My limited point, Anisha, is that banks are the go-to, bank is the go-to sector for everybody. There is a consensus view, like I mentioned, that you want to be with financials and an overweight sector. But there's a difference in consensus view and consensus pricing. There is a view in consensus acceptance and consensus participation. Like Kunal used the word bulky. The difference between last time when we were at these levels versus now is that there is iota of interest and belief in the market rally. There is very little participation. Everybody is feeling the FOMO, and institutional investors have just about made a comeback. And the big difference, Anisha, if you frankly ask me, is that December 2022 FIs were selling.
Yes.
May 2023 FIs are buying. And what do FIs buy the most? Banks.
Thanks.
So that, I think, for me is the difference, that FIs are back, participation is low. Bank Nifty may be coming back to the same levels after 6 months, but after 6 months it has also added 2 quarters of earnings, which means actually the relative valuation very, very cheap. It's back to the studio for the moment.
Thank you, Nikunj, for that. Yes, we are 65 points away from that all-time high level. But as you pointed out, the constituents of the Bank Nifty in terms of how they have moved has changed drastically. It's the, the mid-tier banks and the smaller banks that have been outperforming versus the likes of HDFC, etc. SBI actually, as we tracked over the last 6 months, is actually trading in the red. Whereas some of the other names like AU Small Finance Bank, IDFC, etc., these are the stocks which have actually managed to gain substantially in the last 6 months. On that note, slipping into a very short break, don't go anywhere.